Hello, it's recording. Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So again, for anybody who's looking, I actually have two cameras going on. I have the camera here for everybody who's a part of the Victorious Movement. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey and the training that I'm doing today. I also have some people here who are a part of it from a Facebook perspective. So I'm kind of giving them a sneak peek into what I do bi-weekly in regards to the community. So I come bi-weekly twice a month. So bi-weekly, and I teach in regards to various things. So 2 weeks ago, we did the art of letting go, right? This week, we're talking about gratitude, the power of gratitude, and why gratitude is so important. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. And then we're also going to have another training in 2 more weeks. We are doing a vision board party on I think it's the 19th or 20th, whatever that Sunday is. I think it's the 20th. So we'll be doing a vision board party on the 20th where everybody can do that virtually from the comfort of their own home, have a vision board party. And then we're also going to have, what else are we going to have coming up? Oh, we're going to have mindset calls. So we're going to have calls on weekdays where it will be basically an opportunity for people to come in. And while you're eating lunch on the East Coast, at least, you'll be able to. There's my dog for anybody who's hearing that. I think this might have noise canceling, so you might not hear them. But basically, that is what we're going to do is have mindset calls where we are focused on an abundance mindset. So what will happen is we'll come in and we'll listen to different audiobooks or versions of different books from people like Napoleon Hill or Earl Nightingale, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, like just a bunch of different books that are pouring into who we are and how we can grow and elevate ourselves to our next level. I'm also going to have Friday office hours. Hello, welcome into the room. I'm going to have Friday office hours so that way anybody who wants to come in and ask any coaching question, I'll have myself available to be able to do that for an hour on Fridays, probably 12:30 to 1:30, be able to answer some coaching questions. So again, it's all in the community, the Victorious Movement. The people here, because I'm on two different platforms, if you're seeing me look around, the people here are already in the Victorious Movement. For the people over here on Facebook, I'm actually giving y'all a sneak peek behind the scenes of some of the training that people get when they join the Victorious Movement. So again, it's $9 a month. It's only going to be that price to have access to a life coach, at your disposal. I have modules in there. I have webinars, trainings that you can do at your own pace. All of those things are available. And so at the end of this meeting, what I might do is just hop into Facebook and have people to see that really in real time so that they'll know, because you all right here already know. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that way you all can see the training that we are going to be going over today. Give me 1 second. Let me make this a presentation and make it a big screen. All right. And so let's go ahead and get started. So today we are talking about gratitude and basically manifestation at the same time. And so for what we're going to go over today, it's really about how gratitude is really the key to changing your mindset and having it where you are getting the things that you actually want out of life, right? So for people who believe in manifestation, because a lot of people don't believe in that, but what I would say is that, you have to realize that it's biblical principles that go into this as well, right? It's like the ask and you shall receive, right? And that's really what manifestation is all about. You're believing it before you can actually see it in the reality that you live in, right? And so based on that, what I always tell people is that, whether you believe in God, the universe, if you believe in just whatever it is, I believe in God personally, but different people believe in different things, and that's okay, because really what it all boils down to is that the power of your mind is key. Your mind is truly a powerful resource. And so based on that, what we're talking about today is that, your emotional state, how you feel about things really does play a part in regards to how your life goes. And you might think, how is that real? How is that something that happens, right? And so basically, what I'd like to say is think about when you are, sad about some things, when things aren't going your way. If you continue to stay in that frame of mind, guess what? Every single thing that happens after that, you start to feel like, yeah, this didn't go my way either. That's not working out in my favor. This isn't happening the way that I want. You're always going to see the negative in everything that takes place, everything that transpires, right? However, if you are focused from a place of abundance, a place of positivity, a place of not having the lack and scarcity, but a place of like, oh, there's possibility, then all of a sudden you'll realize that even if things that are a little more challenging happen, you might be able to see the good in it, right? You might be able to say, there's something that's positive that's coming out of this. There's something that I'm supposed to learn. There's some way I'm supposed to grow by having this experience. And so the experiences that you have, how you act to it, they have that saying that it's 90% how you deal with it and only 10%, or maybe it's 80 and 20, I can't remember. But it's basically the smaller percent is how you deal with it. I mean, excuse me, is what happens to you. It's how you deal with it. That's the bigger chunk of that, right? So basically, you have to realize that your gratitude actually shows that you are grateful for what you already have, even if it's not exactly where you feel like you need to be, even if you feel as though there are other things that should be going in your favor. You have to realize that in order for you to elevate to your next level, the great part about that is being in the right vibrational state, right? You have to have that feeling that, you know what, it's all going to be okay. Everything's going to work itself out. God's got me. All of those things, when you say that, it helps to elevate you so that that way you can focus on the positivity of things, seeing the glass half full instead of being focused on that glass half empty mentality. Because a lot of times people are so focused on the glass half empty that they're not really paying attention to the fact that there's so much more that is out here that you can focus on versus just all the negativity, right? So that's one of the things that I definitely wanted to share. Now, in regards to gratitude, it says here that it is profound in regards to how that can play on your brain, right? It's a repeated practice of being grateful. What are you grateful for? We should be aware of what we are grateful for every single day. A lot of times it's when you say your morning prayers, right? You're saying your prayers and you're sharing, like, I'm grateful for the ability that I woke up this morning. I'm in my right mind, that I have the eyes to see this, the mouth to be able to speak this, and the voice to be able to say how I feel and what I want to share with the world, right? That my limbs move. Like, all those things are things to 100% be grateful for. And so I want to, just encourage everybody that even if you don't feel like you can do it all, at least figure out how you can focus on things in such a way that you can come from an attitude of gratitude, that you can have gratitude as like the forefront of your mind, right? And so it also goes into how it's like the more grateful you are, the more it impacts your like neural pathways, really. It helps you to start to shift your thinking. Because if you think of a person who is always negative, right? There's people out here and all they do is think from a place of, I always think of that, when you think of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Igor, right? Or Igor, I don't know how he pronounces it, but I think it's Igor. And it's like some people are always, woe is me. It's never going to work out for me. I'm always going to have a terrible time. Nothing's going to go my way. You just have people who have that attitude, and they're not the funnest people to be around, right? They're not the people that you just feel like, oh, I'm going to invite them to the party. I'm going to make sure that they come to my cookout. I'm going to make sure that they go on this vacation with me. Like, you're just going to be like, ugh. They bring you down. They have this certain energy about them. And that's where, as I'm mentioning about gratitude and how it just changes your neural pathways, being grateful for what you have, even if it's not the thing that you want or you feel like you should have in this moment. How do you get more if you're not grateful for what you currently have? So that's kind of where it's like we have to say, okay, this didn't go right, but I'm still learning in this process. This didn't happen the way I planned it to. However, I'm still grateful for all the things that I do have. I might not have that 5,000 square foot home, but I'm happy for my 1,200. Like those are the things that I think we have to realize. And when we can diminish those negative thought patterns, it really will transform our outlook on life and make us more receptive to the opportunities that show up for us and create more opportunities for us to take. Because when we come from a place of negativity, guess what? When opportunities present themselves, we're not going to take them because we're going to be like, it's not going to work. So what's the point of taking that opportunity? Whereas if we shift, we'll say, well, in the past, I might have had some things that didn't work out in my favor, but you know what? I'm going to believe that this might be different. So let me do a different result so that I can get, take a different action so I can get a different result, right? Okay, so gratitude is really important because you're basically focused on different ways in which you can look at life. Like life, it just gives you different opportunities to be able to look at life in a different way and not allow lack, not allow the fear, not allow certain things to hold you back from those things that you really want, right? So lack-based thinking is an obstacle to abundance. How do you get to a level of abundance if you're constantly coming from a place of lack, where you're constantly coming from a place of, I don't have enough, I am not enough, I won't be enough. I just, if you're constantly coming from a place like that, you're constantly not going to feel as though there's abundance all around you, right? And so when you focus and dwell on what you don't have, you're just reinforcing that cycle of scarcity. And that is not something that's going to serve us at all. And so our mindset is basically such that we get to write the narrative, right? We get to share with our mind and kind of reshift our mind and say, you know what? Normally I would think negatively about this. Normally I would say, you know what? Glass half empty all day, every day. But in this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, no, I've got the power. I have the ability. God's got me. We can do this together. If he's pointing me in this direction, I'll take the chance. I'll bet on myself. And I think and believe that the outcome can be different this time than maybe it has been in the past, right? So you can actually block your blessings by having the wrong mindset towards what it is that you might even really want. That's the other side to this, right? You might really want a certain thing. Let's say, for example, you want to be an entrepreneur, but you're blocking your blessing because if someone asks you to go to a speaking engagement, you're saying, oh, well, I'm not good at speaking in public. It makes me nervous. I'm going to sweat. I'm not going to do well. So I'm not going to take that opportunity. But that opportunity could be the thing that builds to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing to get you to being an entrepreneur. But you blocked your blessing before it even began because your mindset was playing tricks on you and telling you you can't do it. You're not ready for it yet. You're not worthy of that kind of not, kind of acknowledgement and being in front of this type of group. So you just stop yourself before you even begin. And so based on that, those negative thoughts can actually intentionally or unintentionally counteract with the actual gratitude that you should have for just having the opportunity to be invited, to be able to support other people. And sometimes we have to go in a way of saying, you know what, everything isn't about me. Right? It's not about me. It's about what can I do to serve others. And so when you've had experiences, when you've gone through certain things in life, and when you know, hey, I can go ahead and tell my story, and my story is powerful and it's impactful to other people. And if I gave my story out to the masses and shared it with the world, they would see, you know what? I am somebody who that people can resonate with, right? And I can make somebody else's journey an easier journey after I went through the divorce. Now they're going through it, but me sharing my story helped them to be able to do it easier. And is it okay for me to share that information with someone, even if I'm scared, even if I don't feel like I've got everything 100% together, even if I'm only 10% ahead of where this other person was? There are people who have made millions of dollars selling programs, talking about, being on stages, writing writing books and they're 10% ahead of other people who you would think they're 150% ahead, right? But they just knew that, hey, I have a story to tell. And in the process of me telling my story and being grateful to have gone through the experience so that I have a story, now I'm able to step into my power, step into my next level, and be able to move myself from where I was feeling maybe very unsure, not confident, very fearful of certain aspects of what I need to do to get to my next level. And they just elevate that to their place of being the one to go to, the subject matter expert, and someone who is seen as a leader in a particular field, even. So, those are the things that I think sometimes people just feel like, well, it can't be me, maybe somebody else, but not me. But the real question is, why not you? Why couldn't it be you? And those are some of the things that, you just want to make sure we can elevate each other and lift each other up. So, we do believe that these things are possibilities for us, right? And so, based on that, we have to realize that the negative thoughts can counteract with gratitude. So when we feel ourselves going down the path of a pity party, when we feel ourselves going down a path of the negativity, any of those things, we have to realize, you know what? I need to nip that in the bud. And I need to go ahead and focus from a place of gratitude and a place of positivity, because the negativity, again, is not going to serve us when it comes to our goals. Okay. Now, how to shift gratitude in your real world, like right in your reality? How do you use it to shift your mindset, right? So you can utilize something that's called a past, present, future gratitude method, right? So what you would do is you could be going through something right now, and you could say to yourself, "Ugh, I just don't know if I can make it through this, right? I just don't know if I have the ability to be grateful in this moment." If that is the case, then what I would say is focus on the past, present, and future gratitude method, which means you're reflecting on your past blessings, right? And you're saying, okay, this is what I'm grateful for from the past. When I had an experience like this before, this is what I was able to do. This is how I was able to overcome. This is how I was able to get to my next level and see how it could be on the other side, right? And then you're going to appreciate the present moment. So, what am I grateful for in this present moment? Yes, I might be going through, but what am I grateful for in this present moment? And it could be something small, it could be something large, but just what are you grateful for? And then you anticipate future opportunities and you look at that from a thankful lens as well. So I am so happy and grateful that on the other side of this, I will experience joy. I will experience peace. I will gain some wisdom and knowledge that will help me towards my next level. Like anything that can help you to focus on, yes, I'm going through now, but the positivity that I'm going to have on the other side, the gratefulness I'm going to have on the other side, the learnings that I'm going to gain on the other side are so much more important in this moment, even though I'm going through, than what I'm going through, because I can be grateful in advance of how I will be, who I will become on the other side of this journey that you're on, this test that will eventually be your testimony, right? And so we also have to realize reframing is a huge and wonderful word, reframe. So how do we reframe challenges with gratitude? So everything is a lesson for growth. Everything is a lesson for getting you from where you are to where you want to be. Who you are today is based on all the experiences that you've had to this point, and it's made you the wonderful person that you are today, right? Good, bad, indifferent. It's made you the wonderful person that you are today. So consider the things that you're going through as opportunities for you to be more resilient, for you to be more innovative, for you to be more in alignment with where you are supposed to be towards your future. And so that's one of the things, just the reframing of that and saying, you know what, this is where I am now, but based on this experience, what I'm going through, God is really putting me through something so that I can elevate even higher. I'm like, who knows where I will be on the other side of this, because of the fact that He has just poured so much into me to get through this, that I'm just going to be light years ahead of where I would have been if it was just an easy path and an easy road. And a lot of us have gone through things where when we look back on it, we're just like, wow, I really grew through that experience. I really didn't know how I was going to get through. But on the other side of that, I grew so much more than I would have if I had just stayed in a certain situation or hadn't had that experience to happen to me. It's not great to go through. I am not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. However, on the other side of it, what we see from that, sometimes it's life changing, right? And then we also have to make sure that we're focused on authentic gratitude and not anything that's forced, right? We don't want to just say the same thing every single day. Oh, I'm so happy and grateful that I woke up this morning. Okay, I'm so happy and grateful I woke up this morning. Okay, I'm so happy and great. Like just to keep going through the motions of that. No, that is not where it's at. What we need to do is get away from any kind of superficial expressions of gratitude and really focus on the genuine feeling of appreciation, the genuine feeling of something that is in your heart, that's in your spirit, that's in your soul, and you have to feel it. The energy should be shifting. Like you should be able to say you're grateful with a smile because you're just feeling that, feeling joy of the gratitude that you have. And so it's just like, wow, like I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for the experiences that I had today. I'm so grateful for the vision that you downloaded into me of what my future is going to be. Like I'm living it today because of the fact that you have given me all the tools I need to be successful. And so that is one of the things where gratitude, it can so shift your mentality and your way of thinking. So again, the past, present, and future gratitude method, reframing our challenges with gratitude so that way we are not looking for the challenges as being the end all be all. We're reframing it to say, what's the lesson that I'm learning from this so that way I can develop, grow, and be more resilient in the future. That's where it's at. That's why we go through our challenges and our tests to have those testimonies. And a lot of time those testimonies are going to help us to be able to share some wisdom with somebody else that's going to make it so that their path is going to be much easier for us to follow, for them to follow what we did in the future and make theirs an easier path. Because sometimes we wish we had a person who had went through something before us and can make our path easier. But sometimes we're called to be that person to make the path easier for somebody else. And so reframing our challenges and looking at that as something that will be positive on the other side of that, build us up, give us resistance, give us the strength and fortitude to move ourselves to our next level. That's where it's at, right? And then, of course, having authentic gratitude, not anything that is forced. Forced gratitude is, we might as well not even say that we're grateful for something. Let's do it from an authentic place, a feeling place that you can just feel it in your soul like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful because of XYZ. This is that happened, or this is what I'm going through, but I'm so grateful for the knowledge, skills, understanding that I'm going to gain on the other side of that, and really feel that. And that reframes and makes it a true, authentic area of gratitude that you're giving. Okay. So, for anybody new coming into the space and the place, today we are talking from a perspective of gratitude, how the power of gratitude is really important, especially when it comes to our mindset and the things that we are doing in our lives and how we can move ourselves from where we are to where we want to be, right? And so we have talked about a number of things. We've talked about how gratitude is the key for manifesting things, right? When you're talking about, things from the Bible where it says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open. Well, that's all about, you have to put that out there. You have to put that out there to God, to the universe, put that energy out there so that the abundance of that can come back to you, right? We talked about how gratitude can shift your reality. So if you are focused from a place of gratitude, it can make it so that what you're going through doesn't feel as overwhelming and as daunting because of the fact that you're like, look, I'm at least grateful for the opportunity to learn what I'm going to learn through this so that I can be better on the other side of it, right? And now we're getting ready to talk about how daily gratitude is really important. Those practices can actually work. And for anybody who, because I'm on two different platforms, so if you see me looking up, down here are members of my Victorious Movement community. So that is an online members only community where I pour my coaching into people. This is one of our bi-weekly calls. We do this every other Monday. I do office hours for coaching, question and answers, Q&As on Fridays. We have where we're going to be starting on Monday through Friday, 12 noon during lunch, we're going to be listening to books on abundance, books on wealth, books on things like Think and Grow Rich, the science of getting rich, how to win friends and influence people, like all of that. So while people are eating, they're pouring into themselves, they're pouring into them, moving their needle from where they are to where they want to be from a perspective of gratitude, mindset, discovering purpose, just all of the things, right? All of the things, and just making sure that we are building ourselves up to the best version of ourselves, as opposed to feeling like I don't have any support. I'm doing this alone. My friends don't get it. My family, you know, isn't under the feeling as though it's something that I should be able to do, like all these different things. We're not focused on that. We're focused on the positivity, the joy, the experience of community, of people who all want to elevate and raise each other up for just $9 a month. It's only $9 a month until the end of, well, I'll say April 20th. The prices are going up to $19 a month. Also, it's an affiliate based community. So people who are in the community, when you refer, the community allows you to get a referral bonus kickback. So as you refer people to the community, you get $3.60 back. Not a bad gig, right? For a great community that just automatically helps you to build yourself up, share it out with others so that we can build ourselves up as a community and be able to grow. So that was the commercial break. Back to the message at hand. So now we're going to talk about daily gratitude practices that actually work. And so one of the things that I would highly recommend for people to do is have a morning journal. Do journaling, a gratitude journal. Just have a book that's by your nightstand, where you can just have it and start every day while you're just focused on gratitude and just saying, I'm so happy and grateful for, or just I'm so grateful for. And then just write out whatever, the spirit guides you to put out there. But what are you grateful for? So use those prompts, and you can do one thing, you could do three things, you could do five things. I know in the Victorious Movement community, we actually do one thing. We try to go and do one thing a day. What are you grateful for today? And just go out and share that information. So if you wake up and you're truly inspired one day, and just say, hey, I want to go out there and let people know I'm grateful for this. And then other people can chime in. They'll share what they're grateful for, all of those things. We also have a question of the day too, where it comes up with like, what is one thing that you want, like you would say to your younger self, right? Or what is a book, a movie, something that you, that inspired you, so that way it changed like your perspective and your perception of things. So all of those things are included in the community, which is great as well. But we also need to practice visualization, right? So I have been really big not only on meditation, but also on visualization. And that's why I have vision board parties as well, because you have to kind of see it before you can seize it, right? You have to be able to see those things that are not as though they are. And there are a lot of people who don't realize that, you have to close your eyes and imagine what those things are that you want in your life. And you will be surprised to see that those things start, it's like you're being drawn towards it and it's being drawn towards you. And it sounds hokey and it sounds strange and it sounds like that can't work that way. But think of this, because I think everybody has had this experience, right? Think about when you have thought of a person and you're like, gosh, I haven't thought about that person in forever. Like such and such that I went to high school with, or somebody that used to work with. And then all of a sudden you realize, you know what? Somebody just mentioned them. I just bumped into them at the grocery store. This happened, that happened. But if you hold a certain person in your mind long enough, what you're going to find is that something's going to come up about that person. You're going to hear oh, did you hear about such and such? They just got married. Oh, did you hear about such and such? They just moved to, Venezuela. I don't know, oh, you bump into them at the grocery store. You see them in a parking lot somewhere. Somebody just, brings up their name randomly, like, oh, you know who I just bumped into? And then you find out, like, those are the kind of things that happen when you hold something in your mind. So if that can happen for a simple blip of a thought of a person, just like, oh, I wonder what happened to such and such. And then within 2 weeks, somebody brings up that person's name. If that can happen, then why couldn't it happen for those things that you truly desire and want, right? So let's focus on how do we take certain things and mentally picture that for our goals. See ourselves already in the home that we want to purchase. See ourselves already driving the car that we want to drive, right? See, and it doesn't have to be anything monetary. It could be see yourself in the position, in the job that you know that you are qualified for and should be working in, right? Is it in leadership? Is it, something that you should be doing? Like, oh, I've always wanted to drive a big rig, and it's like, but I haven't gone to school. I haven't done this. I haven't done. Well, see yourself doing that particular job, and then you'll find that things about that job are going to start being drawn to you, and things that you do are going to start being drawn to the job. And the next thing you know, you're able to manifest, bring forth what it is that you really want. Now, the other part to this is how long do you hold those ideas and those visions for yourself, right? That desire, that want, that prayer, right, for yourself, and being able to say and see that over and over and over again. Because a lot of times, what you speak with your mouth, you're actually visualizing it as you're saying it anyway, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm healthy, that I, have the home of my dreams. Well, you're visualizing the home of your dreams, right? You're visualizing a healthy, whole person. Like those are the types of things that you are physically already trying to think and do and have and be. So why not go ahead and make sure that you're doing it in such a way that you are doing it from a place of the feeling of it too, right? So the feeling of the gratitude in advance of it actually coming to pass, because that's really key too. It should feel like by the time it happens for you, you've already had it. It's a weird thing to think about, but it's almost like, oh, I'm just so grateful that this is happening. And then by the time that that thing actually becomes your reality, you're like, oh my gosh, it's almost like I've already had it. Like, why am I not more excited about this? Why am I not more joyful? Right. And it's because of the fact that, well, I've already had it in my mind, right? That's what happens with athletes. They run the race over and over and over and over and over and over in their mind. And then they run it in reality in the practice and all of that, that by the time that they get to the meet, by the time that they get to the Olympics, the race, whatever, they have done it thousands and thousands and thousands of times in their own mind, that once they accomplish it, sometimes you'll see people and they finish and they just look all calm and cool. And you're thinking they should be screaming and yelling and so excited because they won this race that they've tried and practiced for their whole lives. But it's like, yeah, I already knew I was going to win. It was a done deal. It was going to happen. So therefore, it's kind of one of those things that it's like, ooh, you've played that in your head so much that you truly manifested that in your reality, which is awesome, right? And then we also have to, as I said, what we speak, right? So we have to say it out loud. We need to voice our appreciation throughout the day. We have to say verbal confirmations. It's like verbal prayers, right? You just say it throughout the day. You just say it so that that way you are reinforcing it and you're feeling the joy of it, because that's part of the fun. That's part of the excitement, is the feeling the joy of the gratitude that you have for whatever it is you're grateful for. And different people are grateful for different things, right? There is no good or bad, right or wrong when it comes to what you are grateful for and what you express your gratitude for. So please don't feel as though, well, I want to say that I'm grateful for X, but it hasn't come to pass. It's not my reality. It's not going to happen. That's not how it works. That's not what we do, right? Instead, what we do is we go ahead and put that thing out there with the joy and the thought and the belief that we know that we know that we know that it will come to pass. We can't hinder it, slow it down, feel like we're going to shy away from it. That doesn't serve us, because again, how bad do you want it and how bad do you believe it to be true, that it can actually happen for you? So those positive feelings have to go hand in hand with it. And you'll just be surprised what can come out of that. I am a witness to that multiple times over. Multiple times over. I literally left corporate America seeing myself walking out of the door long before it ever happened. I had said, and I have visualized, and I created even a vision board And I should pull it out and show everybody. I should do that. I'm not going to, but I should have, because what I had on there was a building that looked exactly like mine. I even used AI to create it. A building that looked exactly like mine with a woman walking out in just her purse and one small box. That's it. I said, I will never be that person who, when it's my last day, people have to help me lug stuff to my car. No, I said, I want to carry my purse and one small box. And it might, whatever, it could be a box, a bag, whatever, but it was going to be one small thing. And I was going to walk away. And that was going to be it. And so I had visualized and put on my vision board myself actually, like a version of myself walking away from this building that looked exactly like my building with a purse and a box. And that was it. And then to know that the reality of that is imminent, you know what I mean? It's really present. It's mind boggling to me that that can actually happen. It's just, and it wasn't even what I was anticipating. The difference, though, is I'll drive out, I won't walk out. But the point of the matter is that those are the kind of things that, you're just like, ooh, I saw it so vividly that the day it happens, will I just feel like, yeah, I knew this was going to happen? It's a done deal. Or is it like, oh my gosh, this is it. The reality is happening. And either feeling is okay. Because again, it's that feeling of joy, right? It's that feeling of knowing that, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. No doubt in my mind. I had the faith of a mustard seed, or I had the faith of a lion, or whatever it is, but we just had that faith, right? And then the other side to that is, oh my gosh, like I literally said what I wanted to do and I was able to accomplish it. I was able to do it. So that is really huge as well. And then the other thing that you can do is share gratitude or have gratitude letters, right? And so that's basically letters that you write to maybe people who have supported you on your journey, who have helped you to grow. A letter to yourself, just expressing the heartfelt appreciation that you have for their presence, for their ability to be able to support you, for their ability to be able to guide and nurture and give you all the tools that you need in order to be successful. And it could even be a letter to God, right? It could be a letter to just say, thank you so much for everything that you've poured into me, for all the skills, for all the downloads. Do you know how many probably thought downloads and digital downloads we get just in our own brain from God on a daily basis? Go down this road instead of that one. Take this course instead of that one, go after this instead of that. Like all of those things are downloads that help to build us up to who we are. And so all of that is really important as well. So expressing that heartfelt appreciation is really key also. Okay. And then gratitude helps you to attract more money and success. And I think this is something that a lot of people feel like, well, I can't ask for that. I shouldn't want success. I shouldn't want money. That's just, too, I don't know, this too worldly, right? That's just too much for me to feel like I need to have this or I need to have that. The way I see it is that we really need to figure out how we can have a better mindset when it comes to wealth, right? When it comes to abundance, when it comes to those things that we feel like maybe because of culture, maybe because of religion, like, we shouldn't want too much. This world is about sacrifice and we'll get our riches and glory. A lot of people feel that way. And I just feel as though if you're king's kids, then maybe there should be some ability to live a good life here, right? It's not saying that it has to be a rich life, but I know that most people that I'm aware of, that if they were given at least a tenth of the wealth of the trillionaires and billionaires, well, I guess there's billionaires out there, but if they were given a tenth of that wealth, that they would do the right thing by it, that they would bless other people by it more than what people who have that wealth are doing currently, right? That you would give, you would support, you would help people in need, you would do. So not having some ability of being able to do that is almost a hindrance to those people who can't do it for themselves, right? So we have to figure out how can we have a better mindset, a better money mindset. Not saying money is everything. Definitely is not. But as there's a saying out there that says money's not everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. So I think that that's just a funny saying, but it basically does give us opportunities, right? Money allows opportunities. Money stops with the stress, and stress causes dis-ease in our body, which causes disease. So therefore, if we are focused on, I don't have enough money for this, I can't pay the bills for this, I have to go find a job for this, I have to leave my kids with a babysitter for this, I'm stressed about that babysitter doing right by my children, all of these things, all of that stress, all of that worry, all that anxiety, the economy today, the tariffs that are going into effect, all of these different things can have it so that we're having so much stress on ourselves that we end up creating the level of stress literally within ourselves that creates a disease that then creates more stress and worry and money that goes out for medical bills and appointments and prescriptions. And, so the cycle can go on and on. So I think when Zig Ziglar said it's right up there with oxygen, it's because of the fact that he's saying that it's not that you need it, but when you have it, it's so much easier to live a more abundant life, a more fulfilled life, a stress-free life. And I think people will realize that in 2025, 2026 more than ever, that sometimes we just have to realize that, hey, nobody's coming to save us and we have to do some of these things on our own, right? And in the process of doing that, maybe if we had a gratitude about how we can attract more abundance towards us, then that would not necessarily be a bad thing, because we know we would do right by that, right? We know that we would do everything in our power to ensure that what we are doing is not only blessing us, but blessing those that we know, blessing those that we care about, blessing those that are in need, right? And so money is one of those things that it's going to flow to you. So it's like it flows either towards you or you repel it, right? It's some of those things, right? It can flow freely when you open yourself up to the idea of giving, and then the reciprocity of that becomes receiving. But you're not giving to receive. You're giving freely. You are giving with gratitude in mind. And then what ends up happening is that it's almost like the universe and God just says, oh, you have poured the seeds. You have done your tithes. You have done everything that you can to just pour into other people, their dreams, their goals, their aspirations. So it's only fair that as you put certain processes in place, you're going to get that back. And you might find that you pour into someone, and then the next thing you know, you have a bill that's due, and all of a sudden you get a check in the mail, you find $20 in your pocket, something happens where you're like, oh, thank you, Lord. Like, I just didn't even realize that this was something that was going to happen for me today, that I was going to have this unexpected surprise, right? And so based on that, you just realize that the things that you put out into the world, the things that you put, oh, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. I'm talking on two different platforms right now. So I have the Facebook up here, and then I have my Victorious Movement community down here. So, but thank you. Thank you. And I can't see anything in the community while I'm sharing my screen. So I hope that there's nobody in there saying any chats or anything, because I can't see anything because I'm sharing the full screen right now. But I wanted to give people a sneak peek and a little bit of a background into what the Victorious Movement community is about. So this is my bi-weekly, so every other week in the month, I do this coaching session. And today's is about an attitude of gratitude and how positive, or the power of gratitude plays out into our daily lives. So that is where we are today. And so, but we were talking about how gratitude can help you to have more money, more success. And a lot of people have some negative, connotations about wealth, about money. But I also said that most people that I know, if they had the wealth, they would do right by it. Unlike a lot of people that we're seeing now with all this wealth, and they're just trying to hoard and grab and get more and more and more wealth, right? We know that we would do the right thing with it. And so based on that, we need to adopt an abundance mindset and realize that, you know what? As my financial situation improves and changes and grows, that I will also be that person who can be a conduit to help other people elevate themselves and get to their next level. What would it feel like if you were able to generate an income to a point that you actually could pour back into your community and help the single mom, help the single dad, help the person who has, abundance of bills on their plate, right? Medical conditions, whatever the case may be, and help them to get to a point that, you know what? I don't have that stress anymore. I don't have that worry anymore. I have a whole group and team and supportive network of people all interacting, engaging, connecting, and making it so that we are all on one accord and having success. And what would that feel like to know that you are the catalyst to do that for other people and to help other people get to oh, this level of enlightenment of, duh, this is what I get. I went through this experience. I can create an ebook. And in the process of me creating that ebook, marketing it online through YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and now somebody else can learn from my journey. And yes, I'm going to make $20 off the ebook, but 20 times 100 people, 20 times 1,000 people, 20 times 2,000 people in the world. Now I've created some abundance for myself, all because I took an inspired thought and idea and figured out a way to make it so that my gratitude can be something that everybody can see and appreciate. And if it speaks to them, then maybe they can utilize it to make their journey better, right? Those are the kind of things that I think people just don't think of, that we all might have seeds within us. We all might have things within us that we've gone through and experienced. And somebody on the other side is just waiting to give somebody the opportunity to say, you have what I need. Thank you so much. Like how you would go to a grocery store. You have the eggs I need. Here's my money for me to be able to get the eggs to make my breakfast tomorrow. Well, you have something I need on how to deal with the divorce. Well, here's my money. Help me to get through this because it's really a struggle. So those are the kind of things that I think, again, people have some concerns about wealth and the principles of that. I think we need to figure out how to let that go, because otherwise we're just going to be stuck in a mindset of lack, stuck in a mindset of scarcity, stuck in a mindset of, I'm not worthy to have this amount of money. Like, ooh, I'm not worthy to have that much money come into my account. I don't even know if I could trust myself, with that much money coming into my account. We have to get over that, because we need to realize that there is abundance all around us, even in trying times. Some of the most trying times are the times when people make the most money. So therefore, we just have to realize that, you know, everything happens in its due time, in its own place. What we choose to do with what happens and how we are grateful in the process of what happens, how we reframe what happens, is also very key. And so, lastly, we're just going to talk about how to overcome resistance to gratitude when life feels hard. Because when we're going through, the last thing we want to think about is what we're grateful for, right? When you're going through, you're just like, I'm not grateful for anything. I'm going through, I'm having some real emotions here, and I'm not grateful for it. So, there's often a way in which people are just like, look, I'm just resistant to giving any kind of gratitude while I'm going through this difficult time. Why am I going through this? Why is it a challenge always for me? How is it that I am always the one who, has to pull myself up from my bootstraps when other people seem to have a more easy and plush life, right? And so we have to realize that when we are grateful during those times, it's truly the most profound. If we can find the silver lining in any storm that we are going through, that is that's a game changer, right? Because when you think about it, it's like having that spirit of Job, right? You're just like, oh my gosh, everything that could go wrong is going wrong, but I'm still staying the course. And even if you don't really truly trust, you can almost have that thought process of, I believe, but help me with my unbelief, right? I believe, but help me with my unbelief, because you're just like, I know it's going to turn the corner. I know things are going to get better, but just help me to have enough strength. Help me to have enough resolve. Help me to be grateful in this journey until I can believe again, right? Until I can have that belief come back to me. So having a negative mindset, focusing on what is the worst of the times versus the best of the times, all of that, is just a challenge. And that feeling, that weight, that heaviness of it plays a part as well, right? We have to realize that there are still some good things that are happening even when we're going through, right? We have to realize that, look, I can still, like I said before, move my limbs, right? I can still interact and engage and communicate with people. I can still, even if it's the smallest thing, right? I can still swallow. My heart is still beating. Like, even if it's something like that, and heart beating isn't small, but it's not something you can even control, right? But if anything like that is taking place, then we need to find the gratitude during the struggle. We need to realize that that is also building our resilience. It's helping us to have a more positive outlook on life. And it's going to help us to realize that if we can be grateful in those challenging times, then we should absolutely be grateful during those times when everything is going our way. Like we have even more to be grateful for then. And then you realize that that's some of the habits that really highly successful people utilize, and they do. They're actually focused on understanding, like, hey, you have to be grateful in the good times and in the bad times. It's going to fuel motivation. And often that gratitude is going to help you come up with an answer. Because if you're only negative about it, there's no thought process that's going into, well, how can I get out of this? What could I do differently? How can I change? What is it that I'm supposed to be learning? And how can I move forward from here? If you are not focused on it from a place of gratitude and a place of trying to be thankful during the journey, then those little downloads, that creativity, those opportunities, even if they show up, you're going to dispel them. You're going to say, nope, that's not true. That can't happen. Never mind. This came to my head, but it can't happen. It won't happen the way that I think it would. So we have to figure out how to take the information that is coming to us, embrace it, unlock it, and realize that this is what we need in order for us to achieve our goals, right? All right. And so I think this actually is the last slide about gratitude for relationships and business, right? Because we have to be grateful for the people that are around us, right? And support us as my dog is coming up and trying to get my attention. When he sees a ring light, he's just like, oh, it's my time to shine. So, but basically, applying gratitude to your interactions with other people is really important as well. You could be in a relationship with someone and you just feel as though they are getting on my everlasting last nerve, right? But at the same time, if you could say, but I'm grateful for this about that person. I'm grateful for the fact that my business partner is the person who knows the numbers that I'm not familiar with, but then I'm the person that has the creativity and the way we work together, even though we're a little oil and water sometimes, but because of the way we work together, it actually is something that I'm very grateful for. I don't have to focus on those things that aren't necessarily the most exciting for me, right? And so when you're grateful in those ways, of course, it does foster trust, loyalty, collaboration, all those things when you're grateful around other people. And it also helps you to realize, look, I can celebrate this other person, even though I may feel as though, well, yeah, we butt heads about this particular topic, right? Whether it's a relationship or a business, relationship, but it's like, we butt heads about this. But you know what? In the end, I can see where they're coming from. And so therefore, because I can see where they're coming from, let me just share that with them. I see where you're coming from. This is what my thought process is in regards to it, but I acknowledge and I value what you bring to the table in regards to this. And because of that, I'll just say, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for for who you are and what you bring to the table in regards to our relationship. So thank you. That can be a game changer in itself right there. Just that alone can be a game changer to help people to say, well, thank you. I appreciate you noticing. And I appreciate da 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 for you. And some people will reciprocate that. Some won't. That's not why you're saying it. It's just to say that, when it comes to relationships, business, people, sometimes we just have to realize that, this is who we want to acknowledge, how we want to acknowledge them, and how we want to tell them that they truly are appreciated. So on that note, that's about an hour, almost an hour of training in regards to gratitude, positivity, and the power of gratitude and why it is important. So I know these are webinar trainings that I love to share with my community and help them to learn and nurture and grow in regards to all the things when it comes to our positivity, our mindset, our abundance, everything. And so I pray and hope that everyone within the community has felt as though you have gotten some level of understanding, some level of support, some level of just ways in which you can take the information that we shared today and be able to implement that so that way going forward, you can look at things with a little bit of a different lens of, yes, I'm going through, but what can I be grateful for as I'm going through? Because I do think that that's really important. And so on that note, I thank everybody for being a part of the call today. Thank you all on the Victorious Movement community. Thank you in regards to the folks who have come in and out of the room on Facebook. I appreciate you. If you want to know more from a Facebook perspective about the Victorious Movement community, I'll show it really quickly. I think I'm going to end the Zoom because you all know you're in in. So you already know. So you're locked in, $9, life of your account within the community. It will go up. So if you are referring, sorry, talking up there to the people here, but if you are referring people to the community, just know that it'll be $9 for you to refer them. You'll get $3.60 back per month because it's an affiliate community. So you'll get $3.60 back per month until it goes up to $19. Then the new people who join will join for the 19, and then that equals about $7.30 or 60 cents, a 40% commission that you'll get every single time someone signs up for the community with your $19 invite link that you send out, right? So again, I'm trying to help everybody win. I want you to not only come in here and gain the information, the skill, the knowledge in regards to things like we're talking about today with gratitude, right? With the abundance thinking, with being able to monetize yourself in one way, shape, or form, which the community allows you to do, right? For that $3.60, $7, amount per month of the person who comes in on your invite link, but also in regards to those things that we talk about on a consistent basis that I'm getting ready to show them, right? So, mindset, accountability, coaching, training, motivation, questions of the day, vision board parties, all the things, right? So we're doing a lot. We're doing the most, right? For $9 a month, but we are having a ball doing it. And I appreciate you all so, so much for being a part of the community. If y'all have any questions at all, send me messages through the community chat. I'll be able to answer those for you. For those of you who are watching this on demand, thank you for taking the time to get to this point of watching it on the demand. I appreciate you as well. And we will talk soon down here in the Victorious Movement community. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have an amazing, amazing day. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording, and then we will be ready to go. Awesome. Have a great time, everybody. Okay, so in regards to